what she said. She's magical, mystical, a powerful wonder girl.
Our next guest says the new talk isn't about sex, it's about aging. Joining us now is the co-founder and president of Discerning Seniors, Lori Germain, who's going to help us navigate having the talk with our aging parents. Welcome, Lori.
Thank you.
Now, you have lived the daily grind as a woman in the sandwich generation, looking after both your kids and your aging parents. Why did you decide to start Discerning Seniors?
Well, I started it just for that reason, because I fell into the situation. I had been taking care of my children. I had the luxury of not having, of being able to retire from my previous career to focus on my children. And at the same time, my parents and in-laws were getting older. So I was that person. We had just been away on a trip and my mother-in-law fell. She was 80 years old and she spent 12 hours on the floor. And I helped her reorganize her life after this brutal fall and found myself being sort of led in the direction of long-term care with her social worker. And I really thought to myself, she's not there yet. What are the other options? And the social worker's words were, well, if you want to look at some private options, you're on your own. And I had the time, because my youngest had just started school, to do research and start compiling all the information for all the services that were available out there. And I had thought to myself, how are people who are working full-time and have kids doing this? I would have loved to have had like a phone number I could call. So when I couldn't find it, I thought, well, why don't we start this?
So what exactly does Discerning Seniors do?
Well, we're just that. We're a one-stop shop where we can tell people how to find the best services, what services people need based on talking to, the families or the clients, and we can help match up private services with clients to help improve their life, to help manage the worry, to help manage safety, all of those things, and to help them enjoy their senior years a little bit more.
It's interesting because my family, there's someone that doesn't actually sort of fit into any of the criteria. Like, can manage to do some things quite well. Doesn't really need somebody there hourly,
right,
just sitting there watching them.
No.
Right? Can get a sandwich that has been pre-made out of the fridge, but needs to have dinner made and put on the table, that kind of thing. So there's and is not ready for full-term care, is not really ready for assisted living, wants to stay in the home, but there just seems to be a gap. So if you've done all that research and what you could do, maybe you can help.
There are services that will deliver meals that are pre-made or that are very easy to fix. It's really about almost a rent-a-daughter, if you will, because if you see your mom and you know that she needs certain things, and you generally go in and fill in the gaps, right? But if you don't, if you're not there all the time, or there's a guilt thing about outsourcing and all of that. But there isn't a problem we can't solve, because especially in the GTHA, there are so many great services. It's just about harnessing them all. They don't know about them.
So what would they do? Make an appointment with you, and would you honestly tell them, given your circumstance, because everybody's situation is different,
Absolutely.
And every senior is different,
Yep.
this is what I would recommend,
Yep.
and in a year you'll probably have to do this. So maybe you want to do it sooner, maybe later. And then give them a price range. Are there price ranges?
Okay, so this is really how we work. We don't mark up or anything. All the services that we refer to charge the clients directly. What we do is we'll charge for our time. We'll do an initial consultation, but for free, obviously. But then we'll tell them, well, to put together a plan for you, and a plan will consist of
A, B, C, D.
Yeah, what the services they might need, the contact and the quotes of what it would cost if I was putting together a snow removal service for somebody, which I'm doing right now. I would give them 3 quotes and tell them who, just like you would do.
Yeah.
For, it's not
for a family member.
Yeah, for a family member. but you might not have the time, and it would take you longer to do that research. We have it on hand.
Okay, so let's now talk about the talk.
The talk.
The talk, because I know most people wait for crisis to happen before even considering their long-term future plans or even their health plans. So do you have any conversation starters you can share with us?
Sure. Well, first of all, we really want to try to change the conversation to something that's proactive versus reactive. So if you wait for the crisis, we can help. Absolutely. But for some reason, people make plans all throughout their life except for this part of their life. So, when you decide to have a child, you make all kinds of plans. You might have to move, you might have to baby-proof your house, you might have to, get caregiver.
And you buy a registered education
and
savings
you buy
plan.
an RESP immediately.
Yeah.
You don't do that for your 10, 15 years at the end of your life, right? So we want to start building that awareness. And in order for us to do that, people have to become aware of what to look for when your parents or you start aging. Your body's not designed to live 150 years. There are going to be pieces that are going to start breaking down. That's just the way it is. But a lot of it is built around fear and being nervous. Do you find, ask the question, are you getting enough social interaction? It would be great to have 3 social engagements a week, conversations, visits, whatever. What have you eaten? What's in your cupboard? Literally look. Are you eating properly? So many women don't, and then they fall. Are you nervous in the bathtub? Are you nervous getting out of the shower? How's your driving? Do you slip? What about stairs? All of these things. I mean, you can observe. Do you find somebody is repetitive, telling the same story a number of times? These little things.
I know people like that, but they don't have to mention.
No, where are my keys? No, that doesn't count. But generally, if you have to listen to your instinct. If your spidey sense is saying that something is not quite right, then something is not quite right. And then you have to start acting, because waiting is just...
But some people are so independent, and they don't want to be a burden to their younger families, and they don't want to have that conversation.
I know. And that's tough. And that is because I think as a society we're ashamed of being older. Mm-hmm. And we look down on it when in fact it's an accomplishment, and people have the right to live better. There's nothing wrong with asking for a little help, and that burden is going to be a lot worse if someone has a stroke and falls and stays on their floor for hours. Like the result of that is going to be a lot worse than talking about it up front.
I think we've sort of been raised to think that independence makes us, if we are independent and we're doing things for ourselves, then we stay alert longer. But perhaps that isn't the case, and it's difficult to know when is the time. I think it'll be difficult for me to know, and it's difficult.
Oh, we'll tell you.
But would my kids tell me? And there isn't always somebody. There isn't always a friend who will have that conversation with you.
Sometimes the easiest thing to do is to call a service like ours, because we are like a rent-a-daughter with no emotional baggage, right? So that we're very objective. Like, we can go in and say, you're fine, but I would start thinking about this in the next couple of years. Having that conversation, looking around, watching people. And that's what often happens, is that children hire us.
Do they accompany you to the parents?
Sometimes yes, sometimes no. That depends on their relationships. But most kids want to take care of their parents, but they don't want to embarrass them, right?
And the parents are saying, I'll pay you double, just don't tell them.
Don't tell them. Well, we don't want them to fall.
This sounds like manna from heaven for a lot of people, because it's not easy to navigate any of that. Never mind waiting lists, and people don't know where to go, and they don't know what's reputable, and
where
we hear
to start.
Stories of abuse and
Yes.
Where can people find out more? How do they connect with you?
Well, they can look on our website.
That's a good start.
DiscerningSeniorsinc.com. And they can call us on our toll-free line.
Yeah.
Can I give that?
You can.
Okay, so it's 844-415-4886.
Say that again, one more time.
844-415-4886.
And the first consultation is free.
It is.
Sounds wonderful. Lori, thank you so much for joining us.
Well, thank you for having me.
This is What She Said on 105.9 The Region. We'll be right back.
Well, she said